Chair recognizes Mr. Fry for his 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for having this hearing today, and thank you for the witnesses for taking your time. I'm struck a little bit by the purpose of the hearing, Mr. Chairman, that we are here to discuss Joe Biden's withdrawal of the SPR inappropriately, in my opinion. But we seem to hear a lot, unfortunately, I think, about distractions. Obviously, we've already attacked some witnesses. Mr. Epstein, I'm sorry about that. But, you know, the definition of the SPR is that it is intended as a cushion to, quote, diminish the vulnerability of the United States to the effects of a severe energy supply interruption and provide limited protection from the short-term consequences of interruptions in supplies of petroleum products. To me, if you look at the history of this, Mr. Chairman, we have only done this since its inception before my time in the 70s. We've only done this 3 times. We've only withdrawn from the SPR 3 times. Mr. Epstein, in your opinion, have you ever seen this level of a withdrawal in any president?
Well, nobody has, because it's unprecedented.
Right. So we have 3 presidents that have tapped it for a limited purpose when there has been a disruption in the marketplace for a limited purpose. And now, under this president, we have seen 226 million barrels. In your opinion, do you think that that was an appropriate use of the SPR?
I think it was wildly inappropriate because the underlying cause was the anti-fossil fuel policies that Joe Biden has supported for 15+ years. So the solution was obviously to correct that root cause, which we could have encouraged production around the world. And the shale revolution showed us that we can make a big difference in global production ourselves. And then in particular, because there's a lot of uncertainty about Russia, we need the SPR as full as we can get. It doesn't make any sense to drain it before a potential catastrophic conflict arises.
Dr. Bushawiv, help me here.
That's good.
That's good. Can you explain the magnitude as well to answer the same question? In theory, I guess presidents can authorize emergency releases to buffer the market and also replenish an oil stockpile. Why might have the Biden administration acted improperly in 2022?
Well, there was really no emergency disruptions. There was plenty of oil. The price was high, for sure, but as I stated in my testimony, the price could be high for a bunch of different reasons. I think sometimes there is a misconception that if there is more demand than supply, price go up. Not always the case. The rule #1 of free markets, price goes up because there are more buyers than sellers. And there are more buyers than sellers for totally unrelated reasons, such as inflation or interest rate hike, trying to control the price. That's very irrational decision, as I said. You cannot do that. If I were making such decision in private practice, I would have probably lost my job. And there were no actual disruptions in the physical market at the time.
Thank you. Mr. Epstein, you tweeted last week on March 3rd stating, as I have documented extensively, had Biden and other Democrats spent the last 3.5 years, including 2 of the Biden administration, liberating U.S. oil and gas investment, production, and transport instead of strangling them, energy would be far cheaper. Mr. Epstein, has the Biden administration offered any realistic solutions to bring the price of gas down?
No, they've been in total denial, and they are compounding the problem. I mean, this is a president who ran on, I guarantee you, we're going to end fossil fuel. The U.S. is the leader of the world. Again, we have huge capacity ourselves, but we can also lead the world. Imagine instead of going to Egypt and saying, hey, let's all get rid of oil as quickly as possible, Biden had said, look, this energy crisis shows we're crazy. We need to reverse course. We should be leading the world on policy. And just by the way, in terms of security, I keep hearing this and it drives me crazy. People are talking about renewables as secure. The entire supply chain is dependent on China. It's true that it's nothing like oil. It's incredibly more insecure than oil. China controls renewables far more than Russia controls oil or natural gas.
What do you see as possible solutions to creating more affordable energy, particularly more affordable or cheaper energy prices for consumers?
I mean, the main thing is you have to have actual free markets, not subsidize things that are unreliable and can't survive on their own. And I think we have a whole of government attack on fossil fuels. The first thing we need is a whole of government support for freedom for all forms of energy. And until that stops, the energy industry is going to be terrified. Many executives have spoken up and said, hey, it's the whole of government attack on our industry that is the reason we're afraid to invest.
Thank you. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chair.